Hey guys, I'm in the car, but I'm not driving, so just cut me some slack here. So I want to add a couple of these videos this week, just like a rundown of how I think the WOD should go. And for the most part, I will do these, or Laura will do them after we've completed the workout. Tested it, I guess is the best way to say it. But just for forewarning, I did not test 18.1 yet, but I did that open and I've done that workout since. So I do have a little bit of authority on which I can talk about it. First things first, let's just address this. This WOD is 20 minutes long. Most open WODs will not be that long. Maybe once per year or once per open, they will do one this long. But we chose it for a reason. It also has rower in it, and there will be no rower in the open this year. But why did we pick it? Specifically for toes to bar, because toes to bar are always fair game. I think it's one of those movements that you can feel very strongly will come up in the open. And not just that it had toes to bar in it, but that it has them at a low volume on a per round basis. So 8 per round, and that will give those of you who are like really close to toes to bar or who have them but not at 8 at a time, a really good opportunity to RX them in this WOD. And so I think it's a really good WOD for RXing, no matter who you are. As long as you can get those toes up there, this is the kind of WOD where singles on toes to bar are okay. So let me explain. I'm going to qualify that statement by saying this. What we'd like to see out of toes to bar today are, if you're gonna go to singles at some point, I think it's probably best to start at singles. Don't get yourself to failure and then you have to go to singles. Also, if you're one of those people, I can think of Gabby maybe being one of them, who can do the low bar toes to bar. Start on low bar so that you can do those singles and kind of hop back and forth bar to bar as long as we have room for it. That's really good. So it's an opportunity to RX toes to bar and still feel successful in an open workout, even though it's got rower in it, which won't be in this year's open, because the format of these workouts, the spirit of it is still very much intact, just because there's not going to be a rower this year. Instead of rower, I'm sure they'll do something even more difficult for us. So hopefully that's a good thing. Now, there's another movement in this workout, the hang clean and jerk, the single arm hang clean and jerk, that we don't necessarily do at Chester Springs, or we haven't done in a long time. And I don't want anybody to feel intimidated by it or feel unprepared. I think one of the reasons that this movement came up when it did back in 2018 was because we'd been doing so many other dumbbell things that you just put kind of together skills that you've already developed either with a barbell or with a dumbbell, doing things like devil presses, which we do, or we definitely do alternating dumbbell snatches a lot. And it asks you to kind of learn on the fly, but also put together pieces that you already have physically. So we kind of like doing that. I like that today for us. Just a couple of pieces of logistics that we should get used to now before something like this may come up in the open. And that is, just like any other single dumbbell movement, especially the dumbbell snatches, your offhand, the one that's not working, can't be used for anything. In particular for this workout, what's going to happen is you're going to have one single dumbbell. And it's got to be, you're doing 10 of them. You don't have to alternate, but you do need to do even work. So 5 and 5 is fine. In fact, 5 and 5 is probably, as long as the weight's not too heavy for you, it's probably the best way to go. You have to come to you have to very specifically come to a hang, right? So basically, you can't pick it up off the floor directly into a clean. You can't basically power clean it from the floor off for your first one. So do a very specific hang. The dumbbell, one of the heads has to touch one of your shoulders, and then you can't use your other hand to help it up overhead. And then at the top, you are locked out overhead, hips over knees, and all that good stuff. You guys know what locked out is. Right? And we found a couple years ago, and probably since, that first clean, or any of the cleans, the best way to do it is, we call it kind of kettlebell style. It's almost like you swing it up to your shoulders, because it's not too much load for you to do that. So don't feel like you got to do, even though it would be sort of a best practice with a barbell, that you got to do such a great shrug, high pull, get under it. You can swing it, and that's fine, especially if we're talking about moving quickly through a workout and strategically, treating it like a competition. So keep that in mind for this 18.1 watts. Do the hang clean part as a almost a kettlebell-ish kind of thing, and then the jerk can be push jerk, right? It can be push press. It can be strict press. I wouldn't recommend it. It can also be split jerk as long as you bring your feet back together. So let's go through those my tips anyway one more time. If you are someone for whom 8 toes to bar in a row may be possible but going to tax you real quickly, start off with small sets. If you're someone who's going to be eventually having to move to singles, probably best to start off on singles. If you when you do the hang clean and jerk, 5 and 5 is probably best. So 5 on the left and 5 on the right, and then find a pace. We didn't say this yet, but find a pace on the rower that you think you can sustain. Somewhere between 2 minutes and 2 minutes and 10 seconds for the men, and 2 minutes and 2:15 to 20 for the women. That's 500 meters per. You'll see it on your machine. I forget what it's called. All right, so that's it for 18.1. I hope you guys look forward to it, and it's going to be a good day.